Hi, we are the Rocket Group. We are Sara, Andres, Pedro, and Alberto, and we are showing what we found in this section number 2 of the Laboratorio web of pen testing. So first we did a fingerprinting. Fingerprinting is the first task of a web application test. It will provide us with a lot of useful information. So we'll try to retrieve as much information as possible about it. We already did it and we will show you what we found. We didn't found very much, but here are the results. To do so, we use a pen test tool in order to assess the security of this web page, which is La Municipalidad de Grecia, and this is what we found.
Ok. Eh, Para compartir pantalla.
Alberto is gonna share screen now.
Now we're gonna show a screen of the testing that we did. This type of testing, we can do it on Linux, but right now there are a lot of tools where we can search for vulnerabilities, information of the web pages, and see what we can exploit. This web page is called Pentest Tools, and this is a summary of the possible risks that the web page has. In the high ratings is in the server side of the software, and there are multiple vulnerabilities that can be exploited. I think this is the more serious risk that this website has. Then there's some insecure cookie setting, as we are gonna show you in a moment about how we can um, execute JavaScript code in the web page. Well, there's a red orange flag here about that, about how we can possible modify cookies and use cookies to our advantage. Then we have other lower insecurities, and we have the information of the technology, which is has a Ubuntu operating system, use this Apache 2.4.1.8 version of the Apache server, which is super important because now we can search uh, the server and see in what version is the server currently and what vulnerabilities this version has. And there's also information here.
Now that Alberto has explained the tool we use for scanning the vulnerabilities of the page of the Grecia website, I'm gonna show you something additionally. So I did a little tracer on the command prompt with the website of the web page. We obtained its IP address. And as Alberto said already, its operating system was Ubuntu and its web server was Apache, but I wanted to know for sure. So I used this little tool called Netcraft. I inserted the IP address right here, and I obtained as well the operating system and the web server, which is Apache 2.4.18. Furthermore, we wanted to know the vulnerabilities of this web server, and we obtained that it is outdated, no, and has a lot of vulnerabilities. For example, in this server, redirects can be configured with mod read writes that were intended to be self-referential, and they might be fooled by encoded news lines and redirect instead of a new expected URL. Also, there's a limited cross-site scripting issue on this server, which will show you uh, a little bit further in this video in the example that we choose. Um, and yeah, that would be all. This would be all the vulnerabilities of the Apache server. And yes.
Okay, so now we're going to start with a few SQL injection tests. Now we couldn't find any on the Grecia Municipalidad de Grecia webpage. But first, SQL injections are one of the most common web vulnerabilities. They come from a lack of encoding or escaping the user-controlled input when included in SQL queries. And depending on how the information gets added in the query, sometimes it is necessary to use different things to break the syntax. So here I'm just gonna make a quick uh, query in the search option, which would be this one. Now we see that it didn't return any results, so it seems like it doesn't have any SQL injection vulnerabilities. I'm going to do another test. So now it will be name with a backtick and another one at the end with name. And we can look again that it doesn't show any SQL vulnerabilities. So there are none.
Okay, now we are going to look what we found. It it is related with cross-site scripting vulnerability breach. So as we mentioned for cross-site scripting stems from a lack of encoding when information gets sent to applications users. Using the basic payload, we should get the alert box, and then we got something like and then we have it. Just to be sure, another example to show this site is vulnerable is this. In this example, we suppose that the script word was blocked, and so if the request matches script, the execution stops. So we are using this coding instead. And as we can see, it works. Thank you.
Yeah, so to conclude the video, we did all the tests and we found out that there's a cross-site scripting vulnerability, which we will report to the website owners uh, later on. Thank you.